It's been a long time. In fact, we haven't seen you since, well, it's been a year, since 2023. Welcome into the Press Row Show, which remains the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, and we are pending final confirmation on the other side of the Mississippi as well.
Thanks to intern Andrew.
Thanks to intern Andrew. Thanks to his elf costume from around Christmas. Couldn't have done it without him. Thank you for joining us as the Flyers return home for the first time in what feels like ages. It really does feel. It feels like longer than 2 weeks. It almost feels like the season has now restarted, and the Flyers are certainly going to have to hope that coming home gets them back to their winning ways. But before we do that, we want to introduce. I'm Russ. This is Anthony, as you know. Adam Kimmelman, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad to be here. This is fun stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, you're such a good guest, and I mean, we ask people all the time, who are your favorite guests to bring on the show?
I'm one of them.
And everybody that they asked for wasn't available today, so I asked you to come on. So
wouldn't be the first time you tried that on me. It would actually be the second.
I'm teasing.
And it worked both times.
You were the choice. Russ and I discussed at pre-games.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It was you.
We're big Kimmelman guys. There's that one Kimmel that's making the headlines, but that's not you.
No.
You're not a Kimmel man.
No,
you're a Kimmel man.
One M. He's got two.
Yes, there's a difference. Big difference with that.
Okay.
Big difference with that.
Anyway, welcome in.
Yes, that and the paycheck.
That too. Yes. We have to start with the lineup changes tonight. The team's coming in here having lost 5 of 6. I wrote a story the other day about them. It's time for them to bench Cam Atkinson. Kind of, had that floated to me while they were out in Edmonton, and it turns out that that's the case. But in vintage Torts fashion, can't just bench the veteran Cam Atkinson. Got to throw Morgan Frost in there as well. So what's your take on this, Adam?
Well, I thought you were going to go with he benches Atkinson when the Columbus Blue Jackets are here, and that's where we all know Atkinson began his career.
Correct.
Similar to what he's done when he benched Morgan Frost, Toronto native in Toronto. Travis Sanheim, who played his junior hockey in Calgary last season, benched him in Calgary. It's sort of a recurring theme, it seems like. I'm not surprised that Atkinson is going to get a night off tonight. It's 22 games without a goal. It seems like it's been going in fits and starts for him, where he'll have moments where it looks like it's ready to bust out, but it's not near enough for him to have a spot in the lineup when this team is scratching and clawing for any kind of offense. Now, it does sound counterintuitive to take a 3-time 30-goal scorer out of your lineup, but maybe a little bit of a mental reset, maybe maybe it's a burr in the saddle. Maybe it's something that, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong. You took me out. And look, this isn't the first time Cam Atkinson has gone down this road with John Tortorella, going back to their days in Columbus. And Atkinson and I have spoken about that, how their relationship early on was not good. Fast forward many years later, Atkinson said, when I spoke to him for a story I wrote on Tortorella prior to his 1500th game, called him a Hall of Fame coach, said he's made him not just a better player, a better person. So there's a lot of respect and admiration that Atkinson has for Tortorella that I think allows this move to probably at some point have a net positive, but I think it's incumbent upon Atkinson to get himself where he needs to be, because if he can be, you see it with Sean Couturier, kind of the same situation. They both missed last season, and they're trying to get their legs going, and Couturier looks like he did pre-surgery. Atkinson, unfortunately, is far from it. Hopefully one night in the press box will get him where he needs to be.
And Adam, I think what really kind of pushed them over the edge with Cam here, yes, the goal-scoring drought is big, 22 games. That's why he's here. He's here to be a goal scorer. But, he's a guy who forever in his career has never been a guy to take stupid penalties.
Right.
He had 2 minors in the first 31 games, 4 minutes in penalties. He's got 5 penalties in the last 6 games, including one that ends up leading to the game-winning goal by the Oilers at the end of the second period. Right. That was a lazy tripping penalty.
The one team that every team in the league knows you cannot take, quote-unquote lazy penalties or poorly timed penalties or offensive zone penalties against is the Edmonton Oilers, because 97 and 29 are coming over the bench. And they are lethal. They're the best power play in the league and it's not even close. And you cannot give them extra opportunities when you don't have to. And that was a time where they didn't have to give them that opportunity, and the result became what the result became.
And not only that, I mean, it was you had just come back from a 2-0 deficit to tie the game, and you had all the momentum. You go into that second intermission 2-2.
It's in a completely different ball game.
A completely different game, and so that's the case there. Now, the one thing that I think is really kind of interesting as we switch over to Morgan Frost, and one of the things I was told on before the Edmonton game was they were going to pull Frost out for Edmonton. And management was basically like, with as bad as Cam's playing, and we all know, and Torts knew, and everybody knew that they were on the brink of pulling Cam from the lineup, you couldn't just sit Frost and not sit Cam. Because then it would look like he's really...
Well, then it's not a meritocracy.
That you're blaming the wrong guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
and so they waited a game,
right,
and then sat both of them.
Well, I think at a certain point, you know, like whatever our opinion of Morgan Frost is, right, wrong, or indifferent, there's really one opinion that matters, and he's the guy behind the bench, and he has clearly shown that he is not a Morgan Frost fan, right? And Morgan Frost hasn't really stood out in any way to mandate that he has to be in the lineup every night, like the way some other guys have. So, you know, when you put those two things together, I'm not necessarily surprised Morgan Frost is coming out. And as Noah Cates is approaching his return to the lineup, well, somebody's going to have to come out. And, you know, Ryan Poehling kills penalties and has been an effective player. You know, Garnet Hathaway has cemented a spot in the lineup. You know, are you going to take out Bobby Brink? Are you going to take out Tyson Forrester?
You could
have. What you could
have easily.
You could.
Because they weren't good on that trip either.
Case to be made is that they are probably more deserving of coming out of the lineup.
Well, again, you can make that argument. And there are good... Listen, there are very few guys who have absolute cemented spots in this lineup. But with the history being what the history is, Morgan Frost was probably going to be the guy that came out when Noah Cates became healthy. Yeah. So now we're at a different point. Cates isn't ready to come back yet. He will be relatively soon. But now Morgan Frost, it's his turn to sit out. Will it be a long-term thing? You know, that remains to be seen. But I think Morgan Frost had the opportunity and the ice time to earn that spot, and I don't think he grabbed hold of it the way anybody really thought he could or hoped he would.
And I think that you're spot on with that.
Yeah,
I really do.
You can only give a guy so much rope before you come to the end of it.
I don't see what the fans of Morgan Frost see.
Well, there's metrics and there's advanced metrics that show his line has been effective. But the eye test and the scoreboard shows that all these expected goals and opportunities aren't turning into wins or goals.
Actual tangible stuff that matters.
Well, let me point this out. Cam Atkinson, his expected goal numbers are up from the last season that he played. And he scored 25 goals, I think it was, 2 years ago with the Flyers.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So his expected goals, so he's getting chances,
but he's not finishing.
And so you can't rely on that as your statistic.
Right. Expected goals.
You can if you're trying to make a case on Twitter.
Right. But that's
you can if you're trying to make a case in like a 6,000 word opus that like tries to tell you that what you're seeing isn't real, because all the underlying metrics tell you otherwise.
Right.
But ultimately, that's not what wins you a game.
No, you can't Corsi your way to a win. You need to actually put pucks in nets, and Morgan Frost has not done that, or he has not been the play. He has not created enough scoring opportunities. I'm sorry, he hasn't finished enough scoring opportunities, either himself or his line. The power play is what the power play is, which is not very good. It's last in the league.
Yeah.
You know, so when you add all those things up, somebody has to come out of the lineup at a certain point. And tonight it's Cam Atkinson and it's Morgan Frost's turn to come out. And again, with Frost, with either one of these guys, whether it's a long term or if it's short term, I don't know, but it remains to be seen.
Another thing.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
I think this is the only thing that really matters. If you're a Morgan Frost fan and you've been trying to beat the drum and you've been trying to pull up all the underlying metrics and you've been trying to make that case, that, by the way, I feel like it was a week and a half ago there was I forget what the account was, but they give out like the ratings. And it said that, like, overall, in terms of centers who have played X amount of minutes, that he was, like, the 4th or 6th highest-rated center by their metrics. And it's like, that's great, and that's swell. And if you want to make a case, and you certainly can, if you want to make a case that because of all the underlying metrics, that John Tortorella is an absolute buffoon, and that this team trades Morgan Frost and he becomes a 90-point player, you can come back and you can keep yourself warm with all of those metrics that you printed out, and you can tuck them in your shirt, you can tuck them in your pants to like provide insulation, and those numbers can keep you warm at night. But ultimately, that's not what this like if this team thought that those numbers were going to turn into quantifiable things that actually matter for winning games, he would be playing. There would be a mandate from up top that the guy is on the ice. It hasn't happened, which means it's not just the coach who doesn't believe that the guy has it in him. You can be in total opposition to that as a fan, and that's fine. But as of right now, like, there doesn't seem to be a significant Morgan Frost believer in the organization who has any kind of actual power.
No, and again, it just goes back to watch the game and see the game. And look, and you can make those numbers say whatever you want them to say. And from an advanced metric standpoint, if you look at certain numbers in certain situations, it will tell you that he is a top-of-the-list second-line center. But top-of-the-list second-line centers don't have 6 points in a 14-game span when you are given, top 6 5-on-5 time, you're on the first power play, and you're given opportunities to produce, and you're just not producing. It's not happening. The puck is not going in the net, either off your stick or off your line mate's stick. And that is the bottom line. It's just not happening. It's not happening for Atkinson. It's not happening for Frost. And look, and there are other guys that you can say that about, but you can't scratch everybody who's underperforming or underwhelming. Tonight, it's those two guys, but again, it could be two different guys. It could be one different guy, in the next game.
Yeah,
so.
if they lose this game tonight, it wouldn't surprise me if it's somebody else.
Well, again, and even if they win, it could be somebody else. Like, I know the coaching trope is you don't change a winning lineup, but again, Tortorella, we've heard it all the time. I go with my gut. I go with what I see. And they could win, and he could see a guy not do what he wants to do, and all of a sudden Atkinson or Frost or both are back in the lineup, win or lose tonight.
I think A-Dubs is right. I think that's the account. That Andy and Rona one, it's like the two silhouettes of like cartoonish looking. But listen, I don't know. I almost look at half the stuff that comes out on Twitter that pulls all this stuff together. And to me, it's kind of like when you're in high school, when you're in an AP class, and you know that you don't have a legitimate argument to make, like you're in a debate, and you're like, well, I'm going to put together a really fancy PowerPoint, and I'm going to add animation to it, and I'm going to add some graphics. And it's like I pulled 15 classmates about what their favorite soda is. But if I make the graph look nice enough, you're going to think that it was something way more complicated, right? And like ultimately, it doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, it's the eye test, and I went into journalism so I wouldn't have to do math for a living.
Yeah.
And the eye test says to me that Morgan Frost has earned a spot in the press box.
Yep.
Yeah. Before the game, and I've been trying to get to this 4 times, but Russ has interrupted me every time.
So actually, let me just take.
Before the game, we had an opportunity to talk to Sean Couturier. And one of the things that I thought was the most interesting thing that he brought up down there was how he says, we've been playing fast, but it's only going to get faster, and we have to. He said teams are catching up to us, or I'm paraphrasing. He said as teams catch up to us, we have to play the game even at a faster pace, and I think that is a very astute observation of why the Flyers are struggling a little bit.
Well, and I think part of it is they had a certain mentality, a certain attack mentality, where they were looking for the home run pass, looking for the stretch pass, trying to get guys flying through the neutral zone. Well, everybody knows that's what they're trying to do. So you've seen teams clog the neutral zone, play them harder through the middle of the ice, and they need to learn how to attack in different ways. It can't just be scoring off the rush. And this is where their lack of physicality, their lack of size in their top 6 really is going to hurt them a little bit, because they don't, and Torts has talked about it before the road trip, that we need to get better on the forecheck, They need to start establishing a cycle game. They need to get bodies and pucks to the net, play more of a straight line, straightforward game. I hate to say dump and chase because I'm not a fan of that, but I think they need to do more of that.
Right.
Get the puck in deep and sort of create that havoc around the net, and they don't have that guy. And this kind of goes back a little bit to the Morgan Frost argument, where if you had a more physical guy, a Kevin Hayes, for example, a guy who's a little bit more physical, who can go to the front net and take up space and create a little more havoc, take away more of the goalie's eyes, more so than a Morgan Frost can do. I think that would put them in a little bit better position where, okay, if the plays off the rush aren't there for them, they can get the puck deep, they can grind teams up out in the corners, get pucks to the front of net and sort of create a little bit of havoc there. They haven't really shown an ability to do that. And, as hard as a guy like Travis Konechny plays, he's still 5'9" and under 200 pounds. He's not going to be that intimidating, forceful presence. Same with Cam Atkinson, and same with a few other guys. And Tyson Forrester's a bigger guy, but he's young.
Yeah.
And he's not as strong as he's gonna be 3 and 4 years down the line. Bobby Brink is on the undersized side. So, they need to be more determined, I think, in that area of the game, and that will help them, quote unquote, playing faster. I think to me it's playing more in straight lines rather than trying to, score off the rush and be creative and make that. And I think that's what gets them into that, call it the hero pass, that one extra pass before getting a shot off. Owen Tippett has a dynamic shot. He's got to use it more instead of looking for that pass, hesitating and waiting that second before he gets the shot off. Forrester, kind of the same thing. That's his calling card, is that shot. He's got to be able to get it off faster, and they need to have more bodies at the net, so if those shots get stopped, there's guys there that can clean up and score those garbage goals.
I just want to say really quickly, that was really great analysis, but I hope that all of the bloggers and aggregators out there start tomorrow's writing cycle with the headline, NHL.com, Kimmelman, Flyers should trade for Kevin Hayes. I hope that that's what comes out of that.
So you needed to set up that entire joke to get, instead of having me respond to something Adam said?
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
I blame the mustache.
It's the Russ stash.
Oh, it's got a name.
I don't know if it's the Russ stash anymore. That was when it was undefeated. It's not undefeated anymore.
I don't think it was ever undefeated.
What? Whoa.
Very good, AK. No, but one of the things you talked about, you said that you're not a fan of the dump and chase, but they should do it a little bit. And I agree. I think it's a situation where it's like, if you show that you do it, just show it a little bit, right? Not to say it becomes your style of play, but you give the defense something to think about. Are they going to dump it and we got to go back and go get the puck and they're going to forecheck like the devil, or are they going to try one of those stretch passes? Are they going to carry it up ice and
you got to be you have to have a versatile attack. Yeah. That's what the really good teams do. They don't just attack you one way. They attack you multiple ways from multiple positions, and that's what the Flyers need to get to. And yes, it's great watching them race up and down the ice and score off the rush. It's great when they connect on those, long passes out of the zone to spring a Konechny or a Tippett or a Forster or whomever on a breakaway. But it's not going to be there every game, and you're seeing it less and less, and you're going to continue to see it less and less as the season goes on, as teams get tighter and get better defensively. So you need to come up with other ways to be effective in the offensive zone, and I think that's what Tortorella kind of wants them to establish, and I think that's sort of going back to what Sean Couturier said, where they need to be more of a effective straight line team where it looks like they're playing faster because you can just race down and get the puck and forecheck like the devil, to use your words. That's what I think they need to do more of.
There's a really good question in here. I don't know if you guys have gotten any kind of insight on this, but Michael Kaminis asks, Cam Atkinson chose the older fusion surgeon, the fusion procedure over the Eichel and Farabee newer, like the disc replacement surgery. And he's wondering if Cam has addressed this at all, or if you guys know anybody from within the organization why he might have chosen to go with the older procedure more so than the newer one that has, it seems like, worked out well for both Eichel and Farabee.
If I can recall correctly, I think we did ask Atkinson about it, and he said it was just the preference of himself and the doctors was this is the correct way to address it versus, what Farabee did, what Eichel did. Every doctor, every injury they're going to treat it differently. And, every situation is different. And listen, I'm not going to criticize one or the other. If that's what they were comfortable going with, that's what, they're comfortable with. And I don't think that has any bearing on Atkinson's play. And I don't think it has any – I don't know if it has any bearing right now on Joel Farabee's play. And Joel Farabee's playing very well.
Yeah.
I think it's just he's healthy and he's playing well versus a guy who's healthy and he's not playing well.
The NHL is about to announce the All-Stars. We are intern Andrew's monitoring it like the devil. It's got to be Travis Konechny, right?
I would assume so. And look, I say this as a league employee who has zero knowledge of anybody who's on that list. If I'm filling it out, I'm picking Travis Konechny because I think he has had an outstanding season. He's been by far the Flyers' best player. And there's really the only other person you can make an argument for to me is Carter Hart.
Yeah.
But if I'm picking it regardless of position, and I know, listen, you still need goal. It's an all-star game, but you still need goalies.
Yeah.
I'm putting Travis Konechny on that list for the Flyers.
All of you who are out there watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twixter, do us a favor. Drop below in the comments who you think should be the Flyers All-Star. Or should they have two? Should it be a Hart and a Konechny? I think that there was a case. I wonder if the time that Hart has missed over the last few weeks maybe cost him the opportunity to be an All-Star.
Well, I don't think it hasn't cost him the chance to be an All-Star.
I mean like in the minds of the...
Well, no. All they're announcing tonight is one player from all 32 teams.
Yeah.
That's it. Then there's going to be more players that fans can vote on. So Hart could be in that. Whoever, let's assume it's Konechny. Hart or whomever could be in that next group. But I don't think it's going to preclude him one way or the other from having a chance to go to the All-Star game. And even if he isn't part of the voting group, I don't think you can take anything away from what Carter Hart has done this season. Certainly, obviously it's been a little bit bumpy as the team, since he came back from the illness and the team hasn't played as well.
Yeah.
But I think he's moved into that elite top 10 goalie in the league category. I really do.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's, and we were told before the season in conversations with Keith Jones and Danny Briere that they want him to be in the top 8. That's where that's what they think that he can be, and
I think that's fair.
That's where they want him to be.
I think that's absolutely fair. You look at the skill set, the athleticism, the mental approach that he has. Listen, we've all been around him enough to know nothing rattles him. Good goals, bad goals. He is the same level. The only knock on Carter Hart, and I think it's somewhat significant, is his puck handling ability.
Breaking news.
I
hate to stop it. Your Eastern Conference representative for your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers, Morgan Frost.
No,
Just kidding.
stop it.
Travis Konechny.
There
Congratulations to Travis Konechny. That's great. So this, let's see, we've got Aho, Matt Barzal, Crosby, Deline, DeBrincat. DeBrincat!
Your boy.
Guy, should have traded for him. Hughes, Jenner, Konechny, Kucherov, Matthews, Pasternak, Reinhart. Reinhart was available a few years ago. Yeah, another guy I believe I advocated for. How about
Flyers got Ristolainen instead.
that? Yeah. Great pickup, comparatively.
Different Buffalo guy.
Shesterkin, Suzuki, Kachuk, and Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson got the,
That's an
got the
interesting-
pick. I think that's the one that stands out.
That's a choice. Well, you know what? Now let's just keep in mind that as much fun as the All-Star game is, there are guys who either they feel they need a rest, or there are nursing injuries,
Yeah.
or the idea of a few days without hockey are beneficial to them. Let's say older players in the league.
So let me ask you this, because I actually don't know this, which is I'm mad at myself for not knowing. So I'll ask you: are the teams consulted with this initial list that the league puts out?
So in all honesty, I don't know anything that goes into it. I only see the output. I have no knowledge of the input, how that all works.
Like, I didn't know if they, the league says to the team, because you think about last year.
They might.
You think about last year, Kevin Hayes
Right.
getting it instead of Konechny. I would think if you watched from afar, it would have been a hands down Travis Konechny. but it went to Kevin Hayes. So that's why I thought maybe there was some team input.
Well, much like your reaction, Russ, when it was Tom Wilson's name came up, when the list came out last year and it was Kevin Hayes and it wasn't Travis Konecny, I also was a little bit surprised.
Oh, yeah.
But again, I don't know anything about how that stuff is put together, the mechanics that go into it. So I'm as much of a fan of this stuff and find out about it in real time just like everybody else.
I've seen a few people drop this. I want to see. Rob Greeley put this in here. I don't know where this came from, but a few people have dropped it in.
No, it was on Facebook. It's one of those aggregator stupid posts.
Stupid aggregator posts.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's no chance of Konecny and Walker getting traded to the Jets.
No. Completely bogus.
TK and the Jets.
Yeah,
Hey, before we do our final preparations here and we get into predictions and everything, Cutter Gauthier had a big goal today.
An outstanding goal.
And people are really excited about it. And Ant and Bundy both. It was a big goal. It was a big goal in the game because they wins the game for them. That's a game-winning goal. Yes.
But let's keep in mind it was a power play goal, right?
What do the Flyers need?
It's still
power play goals.
No. But listen,
still counted the same.
I don't want to. I agree, and it's a big goal. I don't want to take anything away, but I don't want to turn it into, oh my God, did you see that goal by Cutter Gauthier? He stood in the circle and snapped a shot past the goal on a power play.
And to Russ's point, when was the last time you saw that with the Flyers?
That's exactly right.
Number one. Number two, you consider the time and the place. Someone who's covered World Juniors, and I know the stress that goes into those semifinal games and those moments. Time and place matter.
No, it
and
does.
To rip that goal, power play or not, he still had to beat a goalie. And it still won them the game. And he's the tournament's leading scorer. Not all 12 of those points have come on the power play.
That's right.
Hold on.
Greg is right. Ant Sanfil Karen.
I'm going to call time. I'm going to call timeout on Kimmelman here. Yes, he's the tournament's leading scorer. Until today, how many of those points came in games against
you
good
play
teams?
who you're going to play.
To his point, you can't control the competition.
No, but
I love Adam Kimmelman. He is welcome on this show.
But my point is
he
that
wants to be here.
when they played the tighter games, he only had, I think, 2 points. All those points came in 11-3 blowouts against weak competition.
Who scored the winning goal in the semifinals of the World Junior Championship today?
Cutter Gauthier.
That's it.
Yes.
So
some people are saying Cutter GOAT, greatest of all time.
I think he's going to be a really good player.
Yes, he is.
He's going to be a really good player in the NHL, and the Flyers are lucky to have him. I'm not knocking him. What I want to do is I want to temper expectations. You know why? He's going to play for the Flyers later this year.
Potentially, yes. The only if BC, I always get BCBU confused.
Yep.
If BC plays into the Frozen Four and the season extends longer, I could see a scenario where they sign him and he goes to Allentown and he plays down there at the end, and then you start him fresh in September.
I think that they'll give him a couple games up here.
They possibly could, depending on how the schedule falls out, where the Flyers are. I mean, look, if they're a playoff team...
I was going to say, a couple of games, this team's going to the playoffs.
If they're a playoff team, I don't know if you then want to put a 19-year-old into that situation for his NHL debut. There's a lot that has to get worked out between now and when that might happen.
Your second line tonight has Scott Lawton centering Garnet Hathaway.
I understand that. But there's a big difference between dropping a 19-year-old kid into a Stanley Cup playoff situation and going with, Scott Lawton and Garnet Hathaway. And I know that isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but do you want to see Gauthier potentially get hurt because he's not ready for that speed, for that strength? Because, again, he's still only 19 years old. Much like Tyson Forrester, he's not as strong physically as he's going to be 3 and 4 years from now. You want him to build, in an ideal world, you build him into being what he is rather than parachuting him in. Not saying that it couldn't work, but I think the odds are better that it might not go as exquisitely as you hope, just because he is who he is and he's done what he's done at the World Junior level and the NCAA level where he's dominated. So I think, to your point, we do need to temper the expectations there of him just flying in from Boston in the second week of April and just landing on in the Flyers' top 6. You're also doing a little bit of a disservice to the guys who will have battled 75 games at that point to get them to where they are, if they are at that point. Those guys have gotten you there, and now you're going to suddenly say, all right, you guys are out. We're bringing in the kid no one has seen play at the NHL level.
I will counterpoint that, though, with a lot of the guys who helped get you to that point if you do make the playoffs, they aren't part of the future. They're not even really part of much beyond the present of like a few weeks from then.
Right,
so if you have, I think at the end of the season, this team will probably be in that bubble-ish zone, right? They'll either be just clear enough that they can experiment with it, or they'll be far enough out where they won't. Like, I don't see a scenario where it's like, if they're one game out of the playoffs, he's not making the lineup. But if it's something where they've got a 2 or 3 game advantage, I can see him maybe getting in. And at that point, I think you do yourself a disservice if you don't at least give him a look.
But I think you need to get. It's going to be a harder decision, I think, than people outside of the organization realize. Again, because he is just a 19-year-old, and he's not physically mature enough maybe to handle NHL play at that point in the season.
Now, if the wheels fall off, though, at the end of the season,
that's a different story.
Okay. Go ahead.
I just wanted to answer this poor woman's question. And you pulled it off.
I didn't mean to. Here, I got it.
Valentina asked, said, please tell her that they're going to have 3 first-round picks this year, 3 first-round picks next year. I don't care who they trade. We need a lot of top picks for the future. Well, they have 2 already.
Yes.
I think there is a possibility that they could get a 3rd if they decide to be sellers at the deadline.
Well, again, certainly yes. If they, to the person who asked about Travis Konecny getting traded, I think there are certain guys on this team that if they were to fall out of it, and they put up the for sale sign, yes, I think there are guys that could get them a first-round draft pick in return. But I don't think they're going to hit that. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I think they're going to be close enough come March that they're really they're making Danny Briere his job incredibly difficult by playing as well as they are playing and being where they are in the standings.
There are 2 really great comments that came up during the telecast. I'm trying to find one of them because it was the best one by far. But Pixel here says, never been to a Flyers game or NHL game, but I drove 12 hours to Edmonton to watch the Flyers play and almost got kicked out of the game because of a sign I made. Flyers win, Trudeau resigns.
Well, you lost on both accounts, I guess. I haven't checked my Canadian Parliament weekly, but I think Trudeau's still the PM, right?
He is. He's still there.
Here is the comment of the night. Christopher says, great to see Bam Margera clean and talking hockey.
Did anybody tell you look like Bam Margera?
No one has ever said that to me, ever. I've gotten other comparisons, but never that one.
I wouldn't have
Bam Margera, what will he do next?
I wouldn't have pulled that one out.
No, that's a new one for me.
Who do you like tonight? Before we send you on your way,
I think this is one where the Flyers can win. I think Columbus is so beat up. No Werenski, no Line A. They're going with one of their 3 goalies, none of whom really looks like world beaters. I think it's the game the Flyers really need to come out hard, and I think they need to win tonight.
I agree. Hey, Adam, thanks for coming on. As always, tell people where they can find you.
I am on Twitter and all the other social medias at NHL Adam K. You can find my stuff on NHL.com, all the World Junior coverage, all the Flyers coverage, all the prospect coverage. NHL.com, the best hockey website on the planet.
There you go.
Yes.
All right, we got to get our predictions in really quick.
This side of the Mississippi.
I will
all
tell you,
sides of the Mississippi.
I'm supposed to contractually go first now.
Even though we saw Bundy's pick already.
I just saw it. Flyers win tonight, and they win by a score of who's in net?
Tarasov.
No.
Urson.
4-2. 4-2 Flyers.
I'm going 5-1 Flyers.
Bundy is going 4-3 Blue Jackets.
Bundy's sick, by the way.
And intern Andrew's going 4-3 Flyers. We will be joined in the intermissions and postgame by Bundy, who is ill, but he is a trooper. He is a true man of honor, and he will be here
Jeff Garland.
remotely.
ever get that one? Someone just think of Jeff Garland.
No, I look nothing like that's not even close. You know who I got? Ben Savage.
Oh,
From Boy Meets World.
Yes,
That's one of Fred Savage also. Not
Yes.
Wonder
No.
Years Fred Savage.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right.
Not Wonder Years Fred Savage.
No.
Later.
Oh, okay. No, I was thinking Fred and
Ben
Ben.
Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right,
That's
we
what
got to
I've
go.
got.
Time for
We
the
gotta
national
run Anthem.
Everybody have a great first period out there. We'll be back for intermission. Talk to you soon. Welcome back into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi. And I think he's ready. I want to see if he's ready. Can you hear us, good sir? And we'll bring you in. I think he can hear us.
He can hear you.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he could hear us or not, but here we go. Joining us remotely, the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Therien, our beautiful baby boy Bundy, who's at home not feeling well. I'm so glad that he's here. Some people call him a sweet baby dumpling. I would not be crazy enough to do such a thing, but Bundy, it's great to see you. We miss you tremendously down here. It, quite frankly, is not the same without you. Ant and I, thankfully, have not hurt each other yet, which is always nice.
Guys, it's good to be here with you. It's been a couple days. I haven't been feeling that great, and it's probably the right call staying home tonight to do it. So miss you guys, but I'll be feel a little better and should be good by Saturday. I think everybody's sick. It's going around everywhere, so
yeah,
that's what it is. I only have just on the period itself, guys. Just while we're here, that 5-on-3. I would have rather given a player back on the ice and made it a 5-on-4.
Yeah.
Wait, Russ. We got to pull this up right away. Brian Crail with a great comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bundy isn't sick. He skipped the game tonight to get his winter tires put on. Bundy, can you confirm or deny that you've gotten your winter tires?
You know what, guys? I might need them Saturday, from what I understand, for a little bit. But
it's just gonna be rain.
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
Just gonna be rain.
It sounds like it's all been fake news. We've gotten our hopes up about the potential of there being some actual snow, and it doesn't sound like it's gonna be. I will tell you, I'm disappointed. I love snow. Big
Me
snow
too.
guy.
Hey,
Big
Bundy,
snow guy.
so they get off to a 1-0 lead here at the end of the first period, and that's good. It wasn't a great period. TK gets the goal to kind of, that gives them the lead, and that's great. And it was perfect timing because they had just announced in the arena that he was named to the All-Star team. And then 20 seconds later, he scores a goal, which was funny. It was funny as heck.
Well, you know what? And I'm really happy that he deserved it. 19 goals.
Yeah.
He had 18 when the selection was made. I mean, he's had a tremendous year. He deserved it last year. And he didn't go. So the right thing, he absolutely deserved it this year. And he's going. And another good goal from TK. He's a really active player on the ice tonight. I thought the beginning of this game, the Flyers were really, really good. 7-1 in shots on goal.
Yeah.
And after that, Columbus kind of took over a little bit. Then the Flyers scored. But they got to be a little bit better. They made lineup changes tonight and have to see how they adjust to those.
I'm going to ask you about that lineup change. What was your take on what Torts did to shuffle things up tonight? We talked about this a lot pregame, but I just want to get your take on it.
With the lineup, well, I think first of all, you can't, as a player on the team, I mean, you have to understand who you're sitting out. Morgan Frost has been in the doghouse all year, so I'm not surprised anymore in anything that goes on there. Atkinson is the one where you're probably asking about having guys taken on a lineup, how that may be a reaction to the team. Listen, he hasn't scored in 22 games. It just, again, Again, I know we said this was, they keep going back to the rebuild and all that, but the biggest thing for me, guys, is the fact that they have to put the right players in the lineup, and Torts has done that all year. I know Atkinson's been a favorite to him, even in Columbus. He's given him every opportunity. I think just 2 or 3 games ago, he played the second most minutes on the ice for forwards. So, it kind of gives you an idea where he's at, but as a player, you got to get production from a guy who's supposed to produce. If he's not producing, then Torts is doing the right thing with that. I mean, I commend him for it. We said you got to, in the spirit of fairness. I mean, that's the fair thing to do. It is.
Yeah, total accountability.
The biggest disappointment I think in that period is how the period ended. Flyers go up on a 5-on-3, and they had 1 shot on goal, I believe, right? 2 or 3 shots went a few feet wide. They have a shot on goal. They had, was it a minute 43, I think, is where it started, the 5-on-3?
No, it was 2 full minutes.
No, that's right. It was 2 full.
Yeah.
They insanity, absolute insanity. The complacency that still remains with a man advantage, or in that case, a 2-man advantage, it just can't happen, and yet it seems to continue time and time again. At what point? I want to say at what point do they make a change? But they have the personnel. They have the personnel they have.
I mean, you got Igor Zamula on the #1 power play.
Yeah,
now.
not ideal.
Yeah,
Not a
and
great sign.
Farabee makes that mistake on the pass back to the point.
Yeah.
That kind of takes 15, 20 seconds off the power play. So you can't have those mistakes.
Here it is. Actually, I just put this one up. It was the Flyers have no motion on their power play. That's exactly right by Philly Originals. 100%. They don't move around the inside and stuff. That's where you distract guys. If you're just going to sit there, I mean, that 5-on-3, guys, I can't even begin to tell you how bad that was. That was absolutely abhorrent. In a game like this where you're coming off 2 losses and you have a power play like that was pathetic. Like, that was as bad as anything I've seen. 5-on-3, I think it got cleared 4 times, and I don't even know if they had a great scoring chance. That was bad. And you got a team in Columbus that's just brutal with a goalie that's played 4 games in the NHL. He doesn't look real comfortable in there either, the goalie. So Flyers got to be better. They have a 1-0 lead, which is good. But this is the kind of game you can't get lulled to sleep by this Columbus team, because there's parts of that first period where it was a snooze fest, and that's what Columbus wants. They want a snooze fest. They want to silence it and let Gaudreau kind of work, with getting untouched and not playing physical and giving him space, and that's what they want. And if the Flyers do that and they don't check, they're going to allow that to happen. That 5-on-3, guys, I can't tell you how bad that was in terms of getting the second goal in the game and really putting Columbus in a hole entering the second period, and that didn't happen.
That has the feeling of one of those big momentum shifters, potentially. I mean, obviously it depends how they come out in the second period, but that feels like one of those moments where you come back, and if they ultimately lose this game, that's probably the moment that you look at and you say, that's right.
That's right.
You guys over here yelling about the podcast.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Over here yelling about it.
Yeah, I miss that. That's why I don't like being here. I miss that stuff.
Love it. Thanks, man.
The guy read one of Anthony's stories. He just goes, "You guys do the podcast." I don't know if that came across there, Bundy, or not. The guy was.
I
very
did. I heard it.
excited.
I miss that. That's my favorite part of the games, getting everybody yelling at us.
One thing we didn't talk about pregame, Bundy, and I want to kind of get your take on it. I know that there's a lot of games coming up here, so they're going to have to really split the goaltending. What's your thought on coming into this homestand and the first game goes to Sam Merson?
No problem with it at all. It's Columbus, so I don't want to read too much into it. But my thought also, Anthony, was that, you give Hart the game against Calgary on Saturday. I took Columbus, and I just because this is a really hard game tonight, like for the home team. The play coming off a trip, it was a late, just think, hadn't even started 24 or 48 hours ago in Edmonton. The game hadn't started yet, and they're back at home right now, getting right back at it. So that's the only reason I thought Columbus could sneak one out here tonight. But Flyers got the first goal, but they've got to be better. They really do have to be better than they were. I love the start. I did not like the second 10 minutes of that period, and especially with that power play at the end, man. That's that was like giving up a goal, almost. Yeah. Like you have a 5-on-3. It almost feels like going in there like, man, it feels like it's 1-1. Because it's not, but that's what it makes it. The players, it's a bad feeling for the players, especially everybody that wasn't on the power play. And think, hey, we got a great chance here to take a two Cobb lead on this mess of a team in Columbus, and it didn't happen. Be interesting to see how it starts the second period, Anthony. Yeah,
I'm telling you, something I'm a little surprised by, and there's still 2 periods, so this can change. But Torts sends a message to the team, benches a veteran, benches a second line center. Makes changes to the lineup. You think they'd come out and react with a lot more chutzpah when they go out on the ice. And like you said, the first 10 minutes was good, but it kind of lulled back into some bad habits. I really don't want to see it be a close game in the third period. Like, this is a game you should dominate. The Blue Jackets are a mess. Their goaltending stinks. They have no Werenski in the lineup. Like, this is a team you should dominate. And if you don't, it makes me wonder, are there other guys in this lineup who haven't been playing well, who are still in there, who maybe end up being in the press box on Saturday when you maybe bring back Atkinson and Frost?
100%. I mean, I could pick 2 or 3 guys right now that I could easily put in. There's a lot of guys that could use a box of popcorn in the press box. Bobby Brink would be another one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like he couldn't check his coat right now. Like, no, I mean, I don't sound like that, but you in the world Torts lives in, like, you can't play like that.
Right.
You know, and that's not gonna, you know, that gets you in the press box, you know, and you know, again, the message is sent through. So once you sit a veteran, that's the one thing that happens is you have a little bit more leverage because you sat the veteran and everybody is then put on notice. That's what happens when you sit a veteran out. It's like shooting a message through the whole locker room, and that's exactly what he's done. The problem is that there's other guys that do it. I mean, listen, if again, I know that there's guys that you're trying to teach and get to learn the game more, learn how to be a good pro, how to check, how to, you know, play in the D zone. And there's guys that just haven't played well in those spots right now. And Brink is one of them. You know, Morgan Frost did not have a good trip. I've been a supporter of his. Maybe not at the level that our friend Bill Meltzer's been, but, you know, I think you got to let it breathe a little bit, you know, at the same time. But he did not have a good trip. Neither did Atkinson. But there was 2 or 3 other guys that easily could have been the other 2 guys. But this is the move that Torts had to make because, again, you're firing a cannon across the whole bow with sitting Atkinson out.
It's been a month since Tyson Forster scored a goal. He's also struggling. He's another kid who could end up in the press box.
He's a guy, though, right? They just love, right? Like, they absolutely love, you know, I don't know. I've seen this many times where, like, teams get this absolute love of a player. I didn't want to say it. We're on our regular show, but they get a real a heavy heart for guys, and they really want to give that guy a chance.
That was a good adjustment there, Bundy. Very good adjustment.
Yes.
You're missing this, Bundy. We got fans up here who are videoing us.
There's like a video going on over here.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
How about that?
Love it. Love it.
Wait, he's about to flash us.
Oh!
It's not like the ESPN.
Sweatshirt.
Don't worry, this isn't like the ESPN thing where the lady flashed the camera. That's a dedicated man right there with a Snow the Goalie crest hoodie on.
Give it 6 minutes. We'll do a photo.
Which is next level stuff. That's what we
great.
love to see. Hey, really quick before we continue on, as you can see up above us here in the video, we are doing a Clearwater combo trip, Philly Sports Trips. It's going to be a 4-day trip. And as part of that trip, we're going to go to Phillies Astros spring training on a Friday, and then the Flyers take on the Lightning on a Saturday. So I would encourage anybody and everybody, if you're a Flyers fan, if you're a Phillies fan, if you're a fan of both. I've never been to spring training before, so I'm very excited.
It's awesome.
If you've never gotten to go down there, not only do you get to go down and see spring training, but you get to go support the Flyers on the road. And I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, get to go put your Tootsies in the sand at the Clearwater Beach, and then go off and see a hockey game, which I think sounds very cool. So you can,
and it's in the Gulf of Mexico, not the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, in fairness, though, it's salt water, and if it's salt water, I say it's the ocean. It's all just one big ocean, baby. Anyway, you can go over to phillysportstrips.com. If you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, the link is in the description. Click over there, sign up, and join us down in Florida. You can't pull it up?
No, I'm just showing you.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think it would need to be put on the screen.
Trevor Harris, who lives down in Florida, plans on joining us.
Yeah.
Trevor, it'll be good to see you, good to meet you down there. Trevor also says that, where'd it go? The Gulf of Mexico is greater than the Atlantic Ocean. So there you go.
That it is.
Anthony,
We also I got one other announcement.
Oh.
And Russ is gonna be like, why are you saying anything? And I'm not gonna.
Jesus,
I'm not
told you
going
not
to do a
this.
full announcement. I just want to throw it out there so people can mark down the date.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
March 16th. The Flyers are in Boston. No, we're not going to Boston, but we're going to do a show from a restaurant with friends in Chester County. So just be ready. I think we're going to announce it on Saturday. We just need to finalize one or two little things. But we'll do the announcement on Saturday. We'll have a press road show. There will be an availability. There's a limited number of tickets that will be available, but you guys can come hang out with us. And locally, for those of you who can't come to Florida.
Hey, Bundy,
and
did
do
he
a show.
consult with you on March 16th as a date?
No, I did not hear anything about that, but thanks very much for letting me know.
Yeah.
I show up here, and he goes, hey, so we locked it down. I'm like, locked what down? He's like, oh, live show. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. What's the date? He tells me March 16th, which I'm very excited about. When we go over the details, people are going to go, they're going to be very excited. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be all kinds of crazy stuff. A lot of food. I think the thing I'm most excited about, there's going to be a lot of food.
Yes, there will be a lot of food.
All that weight that Anthony's lost over the last few months, he's gaining it all back in one night. So, Bundy, it's actually going to, wait, what's the date of the alumni game?
January.
All right, so it doesn't matter. So, Bundy, you're gonna get in
26.
shape, and then you're gonna gain all the weight back too. But it's gonna be great. So March 16th, we're not telling you yet where it's at, but it'll be in driving distance for a lot of people, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a great night. We should announce that on Saturday. And how excited do you feel about it?
I'm thrilled. I can't wait. I once did a show there a few years back, and was awesome. It was an awesome experience. The food is phenomenal. The crowd was packed. And they were just awesome. They cheered the entire time. It was great.
And to answer Bob's question, yes, the Press Road show. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So we got a minute and a half here. I will point out, Bundy is the only person on staff to pick the Blue Jackets tonight.
Oh, here we go.
Intern Andrew picked the Flyers. I picked the Flyers. Ant picked the Flyers. Bundy, a win for you would be huge. It would extend your lead to at least 3 points. A perfect score would extend it to 4. However, a win with a perfect score by me would tie me and you.
I guarantee you this
That
will
won't
be
happen.
broadcast
A win
all
for
over the place.
three of us would bring it closer. So, Bundy, I want to know, are you a little bit nervous, based off of what you've seen so far, about the chance of you picking up a point or two tonight?
Well, don't get me wrong. I don't want Columbus. I mean, I think they stink.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
awful,
but
I mean, they're a garbage hockey team. But I'm just saying that garbage teams win some nights, and I'm looking at it like the Flyers are just the travel and the work that went into that West Coast. That's the only thing. If it was tomorrow, then that game, I might have probably said the Flyers. But I'm just looking at it for the quick return. That's all. Just I've been there before. It's tough to get up for games like this, and I know that from experience.
This has come up, and I want to address this really quickly before the period starts. A few people have talked about the need to have a fight to spark something.
Hit somebody.
Yeah, like the odds of a fight to start the period, I'd say, are very, very low. I can't see it. But maybe. Who's to say? We'll be back for the second intermission. We'll be back for postgame. If you're new to finding the show, thank you for making us the #1 pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi. And if you are a returning, look, he left. Just like when he's here, he took the headphones off, and he's gone. Bundy, he did what he does. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be back for the second intermission. We'll talk to all of you very, very soon. Welcome back into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi. I'm Russ Joy. This is Anthony SanFilippo. And as we mentioned during the first intermission, our good friend Chris Therien, Bundy, he's home ill, but does that stop him from being part of the Press Row Show second intermission? Absolutely not. Goodness, no. Look who's here. It is our dear friend, Bundy. Look at this beaut. Absolutely beautiful. You wouldn't even know he's sick. Look at him. He's glowing. He's radiant. We miss you. We really
got a lot of
sweat.
Got a lot of meds in me, Russ.
You know what? And that's totally fine and good on you. And we miss you. We had a bunch of people up here during that period, right, Ant? Taking pictures, hanging out, having fun, talking about the podcast. You're missed here, pal. So get well soon and get your keister back down here on
See you Saturday. See you
I'll
Saturday.
tell you what. I don't want to spoil anything.
Touch him on the shoulder.
I don't want to spoil anything, but we're working on some stuff for Saturday.
Oh, I thought you were
Great.
going to talk to him.
So we have a lot of stuff going on for Saturday. I think we might have at least one guest, maybe two on Saturday. We're working on that right now. So it's we
will have two guests on
This
Sunday.
is going to be must-see Press Row Show this weekend. But Bundy, Flyers and Blue Jackets, the score has not changed. That period, the Flyers had better possession, better control in that period. What's the biggest standout element to you from that second period?
That this game looks like a third league in English soccer, where one team is completely dominated one side of the puck and of the what do they call that? The soccer field? I don't know. They have an actual
Pitch.
name.
The
for it.
pitch.
That's the pitch. Yeah,
and
you got to
then
be
the
careful
other-
with that bilabial consonant to start it, though. Please.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Columbus had trouble getting the puck, even making a pass to get it out of their zone. Around the 4 to 5.5 minute mark of that period. Oh, my God. I mean, but again, I say that because it's only 1-0. The Flyers have dominated at points in this game, and it's only 1-0.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty good the period.
They were.
As far as controlling the play. They were really good.
Yeah.
They just didn't finish. And that's kind of like their Achilles heel right now.
That's exactly right, Anthony. And you know what? It's great to play well, but it doesn't mean anything. And that's why I said the soccer analogy, because how many times you see a game like that where someone's got it and they win, the other team loses, the good team loses 1-0 because they were the one that got the freak goal. But that happens, and that's why I'm saying it's kind of a dangerous type of game, because Columbus is right there, as bad as they've been. I mean, they have been atrociously bad. And I mean, it looks like they've kind of they're done. They look like they're done, and they know they are for the year. That's where they're at in the standings. But man, I'll tell you what, it's tough when games like this where you can't find the scoring touch if you're the Flyers, and yet you've heavily dominated a team and as we said, that has a goaltender that's not even familiar with the NHL.
You see the comment, don't you?
Huh?
You see the comment, don't you?
Which comment?
Here you go,
No,
Russ.
I'm pulling something else up. What? Waiting for the expected goal stat from the Russ Dash. All right, fine. You want expected goals? I'll give you expected goals. I will tell you, we had somebody do a snitch tweet. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah.
But Evan Atkins snitch tweeted, what is it, the Andy and Rano or whatever? They're the ones that put out the graphic that says, Morgan Frost is some exceptional player. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Bundy, I want you to guess. What's the win? What the heck's it called? The deserve to win-o-meter, Bundy. What percentage does the deserve to win-o-meter give the Flyers?
It's got to be over 90.
Nope.
A little bit lower.
It's fluctuating right now because, as we all know, the intermission has a massive bearing on how the game's going to play out. It's around 82% right now, Bundy. All right. Expected goals in this game, 2.44 to 0.77.
That's how well the Flyers have played.
They played so
And
well.
It's a high number. I mean, that's high. But I mean, again, I don't think Columbus is offering up much, but that's still a danger. It's still a danger time coming into this third period. The Flyers have absolutely got to be ready. I mean, this is one of those games where you'll go in after, if you lose, you'd be like, man, how'd that happen? And it was because you couldn't finish.
I'm
so it's going to be
I'm in
important.
favor of this idea by Philip Albert. He wants to donate Sam Urson a new mask with snaps that won't easily come off and airbrush it with our faces.
I agree. As everyone knows, we've been big proponents
of Sam Emerson getting time. And listen, if we can get Bundy on his dome, that's not a bad thing.
Oh, I just had a
What?
great idea.
What's the idea?
Hey, Bundy, why don't we get the Snow the Goalie logo on the helmet you wear for the alumni game?
Yeah. I'll wear it. Sure. Can we get one, Russ?
I don't see why not.
It's amazing. We haven't even had swag given to us yet by the Joy Media Company.
I know. We're getting there. Don't worry. We'll get that swag. Bundy, you want swag? We'll get swag. I don't know how we'll do it on a helmet, but we can figure it out.
Decal.
Get a sticker? Like a
just a
decal?
decal.
All right.
Yeah. That's all.
I asked
Bundy.
Jonesy and Joe Marsh for some Flyer swag. I got it coming right up right away.
Yeah.
Whoa, you got swag. Where's our swag?
We
Hold
didn't
on,
get
you
anything.
got swag. Where's our
You
swag?
got to ask for it. You got to ask for it.
Asking for stuff. All right, anyway, let's go back out to the people because, of course, we are the most interactive pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi and the other side as well. Where was this at? Game tonight starting to feel like the one in Seattle. Probably the same outcome, says Rob Greeley. Does this feel like the Seattle game? I don't know.
I don't know. No, I think that Seattle checked the heck out of them, and they struggled to move the puck. I think that they're moving the puck fine. They're just not finishing.
Yeah. I'm with Anthony here on this one.
Thomas Schiffler with a very strong endorsement of Bundy. Chris Therien knew how to play D. Covered Yager when it meant the most. Look at his career plus minus. There you go, Bundy. That's support. Also,
I appreciate that. See, this is it. Your wife checks in and says you
Yeah.
don't have any. You didn't give anything to anybody, did you? You know what? You also owe intern Andrew $72. I'm not paying for that clown ass suit. for
Hold on.
$72.
I will say really quickly, you're the one, Bundy. You're the one who said you were going to reimburse him.
I actually looked at that thing. I'm like, what? Where did he buy this?
Intern
Goldman
Andrew, where did you buy it?
Sachs.
Hold on.
Well,
Intern,
Goldman.
he doesn't have a mic. All right, we're
Nor-
just
He
going
can come over here.
Look,
Come over here.
Let me see if I can bring intern Andrew.
You gotta pull the
I was gonna
camera
bring
back.
him up. He has a camera right there. I was gonna bring him on screen.
Okay.
You don't need a mic. We're bringing you on screen really quickly. All right, let's see if we can't even get him. Oh wait, hold on. Let me see if I can pull him up. I've never done this before. Hold on. There we go. There's intern Andrew. It probably has your camera mic. Intern Andrew, where did you get the thing at? What?
We can't hear. We can't hear
Oh,
him.
he's gone. He just disconnected himself. This is
Come over here. Come over here.
all right. He's gonna come back on. Intern Andrew, $72 for an elf
Just
costume.
go to the tooth. He's got to do the shot.
This is gonna be a mess.
Andrew.
This is a mess.
You got
Nope.
you got to pull the camera back.
Nope. Nope. He should just take your spot. I don't know what we're doing here.
$72
Fine.
for an outfit. Could have gone to
Intern-
Walmart
there
and
you
got
go.
one for like $8.
Matt Beagle checks in and says, Intern Andrew is a sweet boy. All right, come here, Intern Andrew. Ant, it's on your leg. Ant's about to rip down 3 microphones and a pair of headphones. Good God. Here, put these on really quick.
It is
Where-
Deirdre. I'm looking at Deirdre's comment. That was a legit costume, and yes,
Deirdre.
your little boy's gonna get paid. He is.
Okay,
Don't worry.
where did the costume come from?
I got it from Party City.
Party City shouldn't be $72, Intern Andrew.
It was on short notice. I don't know.
Was
what
there
you
a
want me to say.
bottle of Jack? Was there Patron?
No, that would have helped. That would have
$72.
helped during the show. But
Did you
I
buy
mean,
3 cheesesteaks? What the heck
again? I didn't want to do it. You guys made me, and again,
Well, no,
I said
no one made you.
Yes, you did.
No one made
well,
you.
I succumbed to peer pressure. But
Okay.
Bundy did say on the morning after that he would reimburse me. I just quoted you on it.
And I will. I'm a man of my word. I will handle it.
Greg G says that you must have bought 5 pounds of candy.
I wish. But Bundy, you're feeling okay?
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to.
I'll make it. Don't worry. I'm not gonna.
I
I'm
wasn't
not gonna
sure
go
if you were
tonight. Don't
actually
worry.
sick, if you were just faking it because Canada
Whoa!
World Juniors
Is
lost
that
in the
an
quarters.
accusation of a fake?
I think that he didn't want to face the music that Canada lost in the quarterfinals, and the Stars and Stripes are going to the gold medal game tomorrow, baby.
Wow. That's the time to walk off. That is a.
You know what? The best
That's
Anthony knows this, but the best part about being me right now is I actually get the luxury now of rooting for Canada and the USA as a dual
point.
citizen.
That's
So
a
you know
good
what? I
point.
got 2 teams. I never lose.
There you go.
I guess that's
what we
one
love
way
to
to look
see.
at
See
it.
that? He just blew that. He threw that right
All
back
right,
in your
intern.
face. All right.
You can leave
bring
the set
bring
now.
Ant,
We'll
just
see
bring
how
Ant
it
back.
with Seville
Bring
right
Ant
now.
back. $72 at Party City. Absolutely nonsensical. That's just not real.
Anthony, get back on the show. He's over there talking to Joe Seville now. See, this is what happens. Ant just looks for an excuse to get away. All right, Bundy. T from the 203.
Last one.
Bundy just bodied you, intern Andrew. Sad. So sad.
Look at this. This is even better.
I was
Here's
talking
a-
to Seville.
What?
Look at this one here. This is great.
Intern Andrew reminds me of Bubble Boy from Seinfeld. We expected a sweet, innocent boy, but got this instead. Aw. A Bubble Boy.
He's too young.
He just said, I don't know what that is.
He's too young.
He's too young.
But Russ doesn't know what
I
it
didn't
is.
watch Seinfeld, but I did watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I would say is a better show. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Let us know in the comments, Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I'm a Curb fan.
I'm a Curb
I am.
Hey!
I am.
I'm a Curb fan.
You're a Curb. See, there we go.
Yeah, I'm
That's
a Curb
3
fan.
votes for Curb, 0 votes for Seinfeld. Anyway, let us know.
I was talking to your favorite person there, Bundy. I was talking to Joe Seville.
Joe's great. What's going on with Joe? Any getting ready for Saturday, right? For the big
getting
day?
ready for Saturday.
Yeah.
The Snyder Legacy game down
Snyder
here.
Yeah,
Legacy
that'll be-
Wait, that's interesting because, if we had told each other a year ago that the Philadelphia Flyers were going to be having Snyder Legacy night.
I'll go even further, Russ.
Go ahead, Ant.
Could you imagine 2 years ago that they would have a Flyers Legacy game and we would be here broadcasting it
No.
in a partnership with the organization?
No, I don't believe that. No.
Unbelievable.
As a matter of fact, I still don't believe that it's happening. This has all been a big fever dream. This entire thing for 2 years. I will say it's certainly something. It is certainly something.
Frank, we appreciate Frank's comment here also. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank, for your positivity.
Scratch those
Keep
basketballs, those baseballs. You got to make
Scratch
sure.
away,
You
my
have to-
friend.
You have to scuff up a baseball, don't you, if you're going to pitch?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
Thanks, Frank. We'll see you
And Frank,
Saturday.
and plus, Frank gets to tune in, and he gets to check out the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show. So there you go. Len DeJoseph says, Bundy dominated intern Andrew like he did Yager.
I
What
missed
do you mean,
it.
what did he say? He bodied you. You'll go back. You can watch the replay.
It was good. I love intern Andrew.
Hey, you know what? Our Hextall87 might be right. Peace in the Middle East can happen. You guys broadcasting on Snyder Legacy Day is giving me hope.
I mean, if you really go back to the beginning of this time of going back to the 2 years,
Yeah.
it's insane I'm telling you, anything can happen in this world. Anything can happen.
It's true.
And you know what? And I'll say this. I mean, the one thing I think, guys, when you look back at it, is we love the team and we love the organization.
Mhm.
And that's there's been a lot of people there that recognize that. But I love the partnership with the Flyers, and they've been very, very good to us. So we appreciate that, and we look forward to the future. But it is amazing from where we came and how we were the Antichrist.
We
to
kind of
them.
were. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're
to
here.
some of the people who are no longer here. Although, in fairness, I do think that one of the people really had a liking for Ant SanFilippo, who's a great guy. He's a great guy. Let's not forget they gave him a cake when he broke his toe in the dunk tank. Ant, are you going to go back in the dunk tank at the Flyers Charities Carnival?
If
this
they
year?
ask, I'll do it.
Bundy, would you go in the dunk tank?
You know what? If it makes some kid happy throwing a ball and me falling in and breaking my toe, then so be it. It's only a toe. I got 9 others.
Wow. Can we put intern Andrew in the dunk tank?
Absolutely. That's where we should. We should do a Snow the Goalie with intern Andrew doing every hour of the dunk tank, and we'll just do the broadcast next to the dunk tank.
I love it. I think that would be great. I think intern Andrew in the dunk tank. He has to dress up. What character does intern Andrew dress up as?
In the
In
dunk
the dunk
tank?
tank, yeah. Do we dress him as Aquaman?
No, let's dress him up as a merman.
Merman.
Let's dress him up. That's it.
Proud of
Remember
me,
the merman? Let's get him
The
dressed
only
up as a
problem,
merman.
the only problem with that,
Intern Andrew Merman?
the only problem with that is it's only a one-shot deal because he won't be able to climb back up.
No, he actually came up. No, he came up with a good idea. He just said Jack from Titanic. Never let go, Rose. Never let go.
There was room for him on that piano, too, by the
There
way.
you go. Daniel
Baby
Trotz says
shark.
baby shark, starfish costume. Put him back in the elf suit. Elf in the tank.
That's at least $175 from Cop Parties.
SpongeBob's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But by the way, I've already talked to intern Andrew. And as much as he hated the concept of being an elf
Yeah.
before he did it, now we're talking about him doing something at each holiday,
We're not
February
doing this.
and March.
We're not doing this.
And he's good with it.
Oh, yeah, but we're not doing the calendar.
No,
No,
we got it. He's
not
got
the
it.
calendar.
He's got to dress
Now
up
listen.
like Cupid.
I don't think he knows
Intern
how to
Andrew
do
was
it.
supposed to dress up as the New Year's baby.
Well, then we
I
skipped
see
that
no
one.
New Year's baby.
We skipped that one.
Oh, okay.
No, he's going to do but we got something for
Did he dress
February.
as Cupid?
He's going to do Cupid in February.
Is he going to be Cupid?
And then a
In
leprechaun.
a diaper?
Yeah, we
And
did
I
no,
don't
we
think
need
we'll
the red
see
tight.
that.
No,
The red
no, we'll
tights
get
we
him
need.
just the wings.
Oh, the red tights.
Yeah.
Hey, you know
Yeah.
what? We can put him in yellow tights. We can get Fridge. Fridge had that really tight yellow pant costume elf thing that he was wearing. We didn't have to talk to Fridge. We got to talk to Fridge about that video.
I meant to call him and actually ask him about that.
We were joking about it with him before the game.
I can't.
No,
Yeah,
you
you can't do it on here. You could do it on the morning after show or Snow the Goalie, but not here on the Press Row Show. By the way, I love this idea. Christopher Peters. Ant can be Mermaid Man. Russ can be Barnacle Boy. I love that. I think that'd be great. Can you do
It's a
up and away?
merman.
Can you do up? Do you know what this is?
Yes, I know who Mermaid and Barnacle Boy are.
All right, do you,
The heroes from SpongeBob.
Yeah, got to do the up and away. You remember? Mermaid Man, he's sitting in the rocking chair. He goes, up, and away. No? Okay. You'll
Thanks.
learn.
Yeah,
You'll
all
learn
right.
in time. It'll be fine. All right. Guys, we always say this, but here on the Press Row Show, where we proudly talk about hockey, this game hasn't had a lot to talk about.
There hasn't been a lot of hockey.
We will post-game. Bundy, are you going to be here post-game?
I will be with you, Russ.
Okay,
yeah,
so it'll be
Anthony's
me
good.
and
Yeah,
you.
Nothing changes.
Anthony will go off and do his thing. He'll either have a player for an exclusive interview or he'll have the Torts press conference. So there will be some actual hockey content post-game. But let's be real. This game hasn't been a lot to write home about. Would you rather sit and listen to us drone on about very boring
It might be
things?
worth, but I'll say this.
What?
It might be worth doing the Torts press conference either way.
Ooh.
Since he blew off the media pregame because he was not happy that the lineup changes got out early.
How
So
does
he's
that
going to be
stuff
in
get-
rare form.
How does that stuff get leaked out? Like, seriously.
Well, we knew about it.
We
Okay,
knew
Kieran,
about it,
sorry,
but we don't.
we gotta go.
We didn't
We
put
gotta-
it out.
we'll have-
We didn't report it
We'll
right
have to
away.
talk about this post-game. All right, guys. We'll check in post-game, everybody.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Well, you saw it there. Flyers lose in a shootout tonight, 3-2. A game that they had control of for large stretches, and a game that they ultimately lose late. And let me bring Bundy onto the show now. Bundy, I have to say that to me is one of the more disappointing results that the Flyers have had this season. A game that they should have walked away with the win.
Yeah, listen, they're up 2-0. Konechny again gets a lucky, kind of lucky, but just a good effort going to the net. And then Columbus responds with about a minute later, or a little bit more than a minute. I hated everything about the process in that period. Every single thing about it, I hated. You're up 2, and you're playing a team that's just like they weren't even in the game. Yeah. And the Urson shot, I know it goes through the second goal he scored. So they get a shot from the slot. It was a nice pass from the corner. Shot gets through, goal. All right, some things happen. But then the other goal, essentially, is just a shot from the outside, and it's a bad goal on Sam. But what's lost in this whole game was, so something sticks out to me right away. And we talked about it already. The 5-on-3 power play costs this team the game tonight. That was the deciding factor in this hockey game. It was pathetic. And that was a point in the game. And it wasn't even like they gave themselves a chance and they got stoned by another goalie. They gave themselves no chance on that power play. And what did I say? And Anthony, and we were all talking about it, Columbus is still hanging around. Yep, they're still hanging around. And you know what else? It ticks me off that I took Columbus tonight. But that's exactly why I took Columbus tonight, because I knew there'd be possibility of a game like this. It was like one of those English soccer matches. One team kind of dominated it, and the other team got the cheesy goals, the somehow goals, and they get it to the extra frame, and they win it in a shootout. And I'll tell you what, that's January hockey. That's the way it starts going. But you got to be – that was that's a devastating, fact they couldn't get the 2 points, especially considering who they just played.
Well, they had the 2 points in hand, and you walk away with a point at home, but it continues a somewhat troubling trend here. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We know what we thought of this team and what the team was, but they go on the Disney road trip, and it doesn't go well. And now you look at this, and it feels like, hey, it's all about home cooking. It's all about coming back and trying to reset. You look at it, it literally is a reset, right? Like the calendar flips to 2024. You think you're back at home. Let's get things kind of set up. You have a lot of games at home, 9 games at home this month. And you think, all right, you can kind of shake off the end of that road trip. To lead a bad team the way that they did, and then to watch it just, you could feel it going away. And we said it at the time. It was at the end of the first, and the three of us talked about it. And it was, the Flyers had a 1-0 lead. And the thought was, if they end up losing the game, that missed out opportunity on the 5-on-3 is going to be the thing that breaks the back, and ultimately is the moment that you look and you say, the momentum changed. Now, in fairness, it's not exactly accurate, because the second period, the Flyers did a much better job of controlling possession. But ultimately, that's the moment where, when you have a bad team on the ropes and you have the ability at home to get yourself a multi-goal lead. I know everybody says 2-0 lead is the scariest one or the flimsiest one in the sport. You have the opportunity to take a 2-goal lead, to continue to build momentum, and then maybe you do turn this into not a blowout, but you certainly have better confidence. They blew it.
Well, and here's actually just the last comment that came in. The Flyers worked hard, the really good points in this game, and there's points in this game where they really dominated Columbus. Yeah. But what did kill them tonight was the lack of skill thereof, and especially the lack of skill on the 5-on-3, or the lack of execution. Yeah. I'm not sure what, but I saw actually. I mean, that was unbelievable, to be honest with you. If you go back and watch that 5-on-3, that might be the lowest 2 minutes of the season for the Flyers so far, because they had all the momentum going. And to not have gotten something and put that team down 2 going into the first is absolutely mind-boggling to me, from someone that's just a prognosticator of the sport, watching the team. That can't happen. You've got to find a way. I don't care who the coach is. I'm not going to blame this on the coach. They have execution, but 5-on-3, there's plays out there where you got to know as players what you're doing. It's not that hard. you know, to split the three guys and find an open shot or a one-timer somewhere. I always say in a power play, if you get one good chance, that's a pretty good power play. 1.5 is really good. If you get yourself on a 5-on-3 and you get 2 great chances, that's probably the way it should be. They got nothing. Actually, in Columbus dumped it out 3 times.
Yeah.
That was a bad loss. I'm ticked off right now. I can see our fans are ticked off too.
There's a comment you're going to agree with here, and I do too. Ugly hockey, and Bettman wants to expand the league. God help us. There is a clear deficiency of talent in this league.
Oh yeah.
And it's
and
only
I
gonna,
think
like you expand this two more teams, however many more teams, it's going to only get worse. I mean, games like this are you're going to get to a point where the NHL regular season is going to feel as meaningless as the NBA regular season. And the only way
you're adding 44 more minor leaguers.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. 44 more guys playing in the minors get jobs in the NHL. Now they're all not together. But that's how it goes. You know, that's how the leagues get watered down. The NBA is like, I see games some nights where teams win by like 40 and 50.
Yeah.
Like, that's unbelievable.
Well, Andrew Fawcett here, hate seeing a 40-plus shots and 2 lousy goals with an overtime loss. Yeah, like, let's not get this twisted either. The Flyers had a lead, right? And they scored 2 goals. The second goal was not really a goal. I mean, it counts. But Konechny doesn't even get a shot off. Right? He goes to drag, and it finds its way under the goalie pad, right? And, like, that's not a high-skill goal. You look at it and you say, that's kind of fluky. Certainly one that goalie wants back. But it's not like they blew the doors off. We got a Snow the Goalie fan up here. We got a Snow the Goalie shirt right over here, Bundy.
Well, I can't see him, Russ, but tell him I said hello.
Fantastic. It's nice.
I see them. I see them in front of you in the intern Andrew cam.
Are you okay if I put you on camera really quick? All right, here, hold on. Let me do this. Here we go.
Right here?
There you go.
What's going on, boys? All right.
So there you go. Yeah. You want to wave?
I can see you guys.
You're now live on the Press Row Show.
You're live on show. I love those shirts. Those are beautiful.
Look at that.
Beautiful shirts, guys.
We
don't hear them, but we see you.
Got to get your signature. This is my man Daniel. He won the raffle for the tickets tonight. He's the one that drove the way down. I was texting. I was hitting the group chat. He was driving the whole time, man. This is a big honor. I can't wait to get a signature from you guys. Shout out to my wife, Sarah, my son, Rex, my daughter, Melanie, my man, Daniel here. Thank you. Thank you, Russ.
Thank the Academy.
Love the show.
Thank you.
Bundy says, thank the Academy, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Bundy's the man. Russ is the man. Thank you so much, guys. I don't mean to take much of your time.
So, very cool. Very good stuff. So, Bundy, like, I do have to ask a question here. It's something that Ant and I talked about while the shootout's going on, but it's something that's kind of insane to me. Travis Konechny scores 2 goals tonight. Second one, kind of weird.
I know where you're going.
He gets announced as an all-star. He's creating probably some of the best chances for the team. They have 3 shooters go out in the shootout. Travis Konechny is not one. Can you please explain that? What's the thought process to him not getting a shot in the shootout?
It's the only thing that I can think of is, and I don't think it's the answer, that he didn't want to take it. Like, there's some guys that are amazing hockey players that I played, before in the first year of the shootout. Like Forsberg, he didn't want to take shootout shots.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why Forster took the shot. He hasn't scored in almost a month, too, when you're getting on it, or maybe a month. Maybe they're trying to get him going, but that's not. I don't know. I don't want to speak for the coach because maybe there's something going on, but for TK to not shoot with 2 goals, feeling it, best player on the ice tonight, I don't get it. You know, if anybody had mojo to get one, it would have been TK. But I'm not going to speak for the coach. No, whatever he's doing. He's got a process, and I'm not going to pick and poke at a shootout, the 3 guys in the shootout. He can do whatever he wants, but it is interesting. Yeah, actually, Russ, you know what? I'm going to say it now. I didn't even think about it because I was watching the darn shootout, and I'm thinking, who's shooting? All right, Brink's going to go. Let's get him going. Forster's going. And I realized, oh, my God, Konechny never shot. Couturier always does. It's the same move. It's either I'm going to go backhand or I'm going to pull forehand. Yeah. Didn't work tonight. But, I mean, he's a pretty reliable shooter, though.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, because you really can trick the goalie with that move because the goalie, you can pull it forehand and you're guessing backhand. It's a good play. It's a 50-50, and I think he does a good job with it. TK feeling it. I don't
we
understand why he wasn't out.
We do have a little bit of balance here from Michael London, who says, "Oh my God, people are so dramatic. You would think it's not fun watching hockey. This game was better than any game 2 years ago." In fairness, that is correct. Micah is right. You want to go a little macro view here. You want to kind of pull yourself out of the moment. Yes, but Micah, how dare you bring rational thought to the Press Row Show postgame after a brutal overtime shootout loss, okay?
Okay. And I'll be honest with you, I think part of it, what he's saying is that Micah is saying that, like what we witnessed 2 years ago, like it was so they never would have had a chance. Columbus probably would have won even with that lineup. But what we were talking about tonight was the whole game itself was just not, it was nothing. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't tape to tape passes there. It was sloppy. It was kind of like they were stuck in mud at times, both teams. And that's what we meant by talking about the hockey game. It was a very, very painful ending to that game.
Cliff has a good point here, that you and Ant warned the fans about this. They've had some struggles. Isn't this the great challenge and learning experience for the group to fight through these doldrums, separate the men from the boys?
Yeah, and but here's the problem with hockey. You can have a good, you can do things that are you separate. You're talking about separating from the rest of the group and showing up in big games. I mean, this is not a team tonight that's a hard team to play. The problem is, Russ, and we've said it, they don't have the skill to finish on a consistent basis. The guy who did finish tonight, TK, he's the guy. We can't. I know Tippett had a good finish last year. Good. He scored some good goals. But he's inconsistent too, same with Forster. That's just, quite frankly, they can outwork teams, and they can be tougher to play against than other teams, and they have been most every night. Yeah. But they can't make up for the fact that they don't have the skill in games like this and to really come back. And that's part of the spot where we have to go back and just remember what we have here, that this is a process and it is a rebuild. And I think this is a good example again tonight of that, even though this was a bad loss, and I don't accept this at all. I think it's a horrible loss. But at the same time, they just don't have the regular skill to bury the puck at critical times of the game. And to be honest with you, the power play, the 5-on-3s, it was, I don't have to sell anything more except watch the power play at the end of the first period.
Bob Dylan over here says, "What's Torts' obsession with Lawton? You take out Frost and put Lawton as your number 2. So, Lawton hasn't had a good season. There's no way to sugarcoat it. He doesn't look like the guy that this team was enamored with enough to potentially turn down a first-round pick in the offseason. He doesn't look like he's got the confidence. He doesn't look like a threat on either end of the ice. He doesn't look like the same guy. I don't know what the deal is. There haven't been any murmurings of an injury. He just doesn't look like the player that we're accustomed to seeing. Now, is he thrust into a role that he probably doesn't belong in because the team is devoid of a lot of top-end skill? Yeah. But, Bundy, do you look at it and say that, this is a moment where, as a team, you have to consider pulling him out of the lineup? Is Scott Lawton one of the guys that's in contention for potentially coming out in the next couple of games if he doesn't right the ship? Atkinson came out, Frost,
Yeah. Well, the 2 penalties tonight certainly won't help his case at all. There were 2 reaching penalties, I believe, and those are ones that'll make the coach kind of cuckoo. He's the guy that wore the A, right? Too, he's the guy that Torts went to last year when he first got here.
The only guy to get a letter.
The only guy, yeah. So, again, I'm looking at the last comment as I read them down the board. I don't want to say he's cooked, but he's got to be better than that. He's supposed to be a leader on this team now. You just can't get in a situation where you take 2 penalties in a game like that. It just shifts momentum. I thought he'd been a little bit better of late. But he's another guy I don't think is slotted properly. I think you got to find the spot for him maybe as he's approaching. There's a 4th line. Yeah. But they went out and got a 4th line guy in the summer in Paling, which is a bigger body. But you know what? Again, I'm not making any excuses tonight, but I had a bad feeling about this one for some reason. I don't know why.
Here you go. Sophilo Original says the broadcast and Bundy freely admit the team is gassed from the West Coast trip. Then you scratch 2 top 9 forwards without calling anyone up for the game. That's a blunder on Danny B too. Because there are people in the comments who are saying that they think it's an issue with Torts and his management, and then there are some that are saying that just from an organizational perspective, probably not. Oh, Torts is here. Hold on.
Okay.
And that's where I think you can grind a team. We give up the first one too quickly. When they score the second, that's where, I mean, prior to that, they had very few chances, but they piled them up after the second goal. So take a point and go.
Do you feel like you guys got a little too defensive after that second goal, or was
I don't know where we were. I don't know. All I know is they generated more offense after the second goal.
John, how tough was it to take Cam out of the lineup? And then
What was
what was behind Morgan? What was it?
It's between the athletes and I.
you dominate a team like that? You guys outshot them almost 2-1. Does that say anything to you guys that they just got a lucky bounce there on that second goal, or is that you guys just were hoping that?
Well, I don't know if it's a lucky bounce. It's hockey. You knew the chances we were getting, especially the first 45 minutes of the game, and not scoring. We knew, we just felt it was going to come down to that type of game. But we just keep on scratching and clawing and take the point and trying to get better.
What's your assessment of the 5-on-3?
5-on-3 would generate chances. Can't score. Goalie played really well. Their goaltender played really well.
Going with the 11-7, obviously scratching Cam and Morgan, and then not using Red and Nick much in the third. I guess, was there any concern on your part going into the game, especially coming after a road trip, that it might be pushing the guys a little bit too much and run out of gas?
Nope.
With the power play, you said you guys got some good looks from that 5-on-3. Are you worried that their confidence can take a hit when you feel like they're doing good things and then they're still not scoring?
We'll be okay. Just keep on working at it. We know we're not scoring on it. Just keep on trying.
Travis had another great game tonight. Gets named
Travis.
Connect me, sorry.
Yes.
Had another great game tonight, also named to the All-Star game. You've talked about him penalty killing and all the other things he does well. When you have a guy people worded that way, what does it say about him? What can it do for his confidence, even more so moving forward here?
Yeah, you know the answer. It's great for him. He deserves it. And in that room, everybody knows he deserves that. So we're proud of him.
Last one.
Okay, thanks.
That is not the kind of press conference I thought we were going to get. I'll be honest. Not that it was making a lot of excuses, but boy, I thought he was going to tee off on the 5-on-3. And I will say right now, I think it's somewhat disingenuous to say that they created chances on the 5-on-3.
That was the worst 2 minutes of the Flyers season. I'm not. It was to this point. That's the worst 2 minutes of the year. That 5-on-3, and no one's gonna be able to tell me differently. There's no way, because the goalie wasn't that good.
No, not at all. And it wasn't. Hold on a second. We're getting a.
He was good, but he's a guy who had a hideous goals against average coming in, and I don't think we shot at him. We didn't take tons of great, 10 bell chances. I'm just gonna wait while you sign autographs, Russ.
I know. Yeah, I'm the worst.
It's not easy being on your side of the tracks.
Is that okay there? There we go. Hey, Bundy, I didn't print this time. Hold on. Let's see if we can get that held right there. See that? Not printed. And there's even an oh yes on there. That's gonna become you're the first ever oh yes recipient. Be up in a few minutes if you want to wait for him, but he'll be up. So, all right. But Bundy, that's not telling it like it is. Torts is always the guy who is supposed to be brutally honest and facts don't care about your feelings kind of guy. That was a terrible 2-minute stretch. There's no we generated chances. Yeah, and you missed the net by 3 feet multiple times. The shots weren't on target. I think they had one. I could be wrong. I think they had one shot on goal in that 2-minute stretch.
Yeah, and I think the other team crew was.
Not, come on.
Complete lack of urgency. Lack of urgency.
I just look. You know me. I've been probably more critical of the coach than just about anybody. I think that he has done yeoman's work to get the most out of this team, given the lack of skill. But I'm sorry. I think that there is a time when you take the bullet for your team, and I think that there's a time that you have to at least open up and reflect on it honestly. I just don't agree with that that assessment of those
That-
2 minutes.
So
That's,
you know
that
what?
is the
and-
moment that fundamentally changed the game, and
You're-
it's the thing that you look back on and say that's the ultimate mistake.
Andrew, our friend Andrew Fawcett said it, and this is exactly right. They had no sense of urgency at all on that power play. Zero.
Yep.
They looked like they were playing on an outdoor rink or on the Rideau Canal in Ottawa when I was a kid on like pickup hockey. There was like, just go out, make sure no one gets hit in the ankle, don't chop anybody. That's exactly what happened. And that killed them. That was an absolutely hideous 2-minute power. Again, I don't want to beat it up anymore, Russ, but you've talked about it. It was bad. It was so bad. And there's really, and you know what, Torts doesn't make excuses, but he's also got to remember too that, we're the ones to talk about it. People talk about the team, the good, the bad, the ugly. And maybe he's just like trying to bury it. Maybe he doesn't even remember it. But to me, that was a very, very pivotal moment in the game. And we said it. So
yeah, there's one here that Mike checks in and says if that 5-on-3 doesn't make them make wholesale changes on the power play, they never will. I think this is the problem that you run into though. Who are they going to put on the power play? Like I get there are people who say that guys are just out of place. You have to change where some of these guys are on the ice during the power play, and there might be validity to that. But there's no silver bullet to this. You could make the argument that like, hey, if you're in playoff contention at the end of the year, depending on how the Frozen Four go, Cutter Gauthier comes in and he plays. Is Cutter Gauthier going to be somebody who fundamentally changes your fortunes on the power play? At age 19,
maybe.
I would not put significant money on that.
No, but who knows, Russ? I mean, he can shoot, but we also got Tippett, that can shoot. I mean, the guys, there's just a whole bunch of guys that need to be better, to be honest with you. But at the same time, like if you can't score, you can't score. If the puck's not going to cross the line, it takes a certain skill to score a lot of goals. That's why some guys do it more than others.
Look at this. I don't know how much of this you can see. Hold on, let me go full screen.
Jesus, they got intern Andrew signing autographs too now?
Intern Andrew is signing an autograph as we speak.
Dude, this has turned into a legend. You never lose that clip. Never ever lose that clip.
I'll tell you what, Intern Andrew, if nothing else, he's going to be able to take that elf poem that he did, and he's going to be able to turn that, like, it's going to jettison him. He'll be the next Kevin Harlan, right? Like, years from now, we'll be listening to the NFL on Westwood One or whatever, and it's going to be Intern Andrew. With like a very deep voice. He'll become like a chronic smoker by that point.
His mom's at home crying right now. She's like, oh my God, my baby boy just signed an autograph.
She did. Look at that. There she is. His mom just checked in.
There it is.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Intern Andrew just took this to another level. That's exactly right. QDell wants to know if Intern Andrew is 40. He is not. Nope. Micah London said he paid his dues. Here you go. So Tom Meisner is asking a question that I think a lot of people are going to ask, and in fairness, any other year, we would have probably also advocated for this. Tom says, would you change the power play coach now? A different look, different ideas maybe.
You know what? I'm never going to be a guy that's going to call for a coach's job ever. Rocky's a good dude and, his power play stinks, but that's not necessarily his fault. It could also be perhaps the fact that there's not a whole lot of snipers, Yeah. I don't like the movement of it, but everyone's got a scheme. And listen, I got to tell you guys something. It's not like Rocky just goes into the room by himself, says, I'm going to take care of the power play tonight. No one else advises him. Everybody's working together on a power play, right to the top. I bet you Briere's got his hands in there because he was a power play guy and a good one. It's not Rocky Thompson's fault. It's the execution of it. And to be honest with you, I just think the one thing they could do, if I had anything to do with it, talk to a defensive defenseman. The hardest power play to kill is when there's shots in traffic. That's what stinks. You can sit up in the half boards with me all day and I'll be like, come on, go ahead. Hang on to it. Every second he's got it there is killing time. But the problem is that not enough teams now have a willingness to pump that puck from the point, right in the middle. Just hammer it, get it through, and go to the net and do it. And that's part of the problem, I think, in a lot of the ways where the game was. But that's where the battles ensued, and that's where your best scoring chances are. And for some reason, the Flyers don't have a willingness to do it. They've had some good chances, but I really do think it comes down to movement with this group, Russ. And I don't think they move around enough, and they circle around the zone enough to get open looks. And but I don't think that that's Rocky Thompson's fault or anybody on the coaching staff, to be quite honest with you. They're giving them the schemes. It's just the fact is they're just not scoring.
Yeah. David Castleman thinks that power play won't change until next year. Gauthier must be signed. Michael pushes back on you. Says it is his fault. You're hired to improve the power play, and you've been 30, 32, and 32.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? Like, okay, but again, it's what I said. So it goes down to as an entire coaching staff, because nobody's going to, and you can blame the coaching staff. Most of the time when there's a power play that stinks, it comes down sometimes to the players on the ice. I think the Flyers, to be honest with you, is easy when you look at it from a defensive standpoint. I'm just looking from where I was. If I'm a defenseman on the ice, what are they doing? There's not no whole lot of movement. More movement causes confusion. And the other thing is, too, they don't pump the puck and they don't throw a ton of bodies at that. And that's where the confusion comes from for defensemen. Anytime a defenseman, you have to make a D-man turn. And when you make defensemen turn, that's where the opportunities come from for the forwards. It's none of that has changed in the history of hockey. None of it. And what you can't see is what you can't really defend. And that's part of the problem, is getting guys moving out there. And there's not enough of it. And as a result, standing still is gorgeous to a defenseman who's trying to kill it. And that, I think, in and of itself, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's one player or what, but something's stagnating and it's just not getting any better. And the problem is sometimes it does get better. It looks better. Some games, I don't even know when, but I mean, it does. And then it doesn't score. So you've lost all your production.
Andrew Fawcett says, Bundy, would Johnny Gaudreau help the power play? Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't forget, though, Gaudreau did score in the shootout. So
he had a beautiful goal. He was a little better in the third tonight. Did not have a good first and second. Looked disinterested, but he picked it up when the game got to 2-2, and he showed up.
But boy, how did he put it in an effort tonight, Bundy? You know. Is there anything else you wanted to get to tonight?
No.
I just want to say you've done a great job tonight. You powered through. You're ill, or at least you were. You're not feeling great. You said, you know what? I'm not going to selfishly go down there to the Farg and get everybody ill, but you'll be here Saturday. And I can tell people right now, we'll have 2 guests on Saturday. And I can tell you that one of those guests is going to be somebody that you would have never expected to have heard from 2 years ago or maybe even a year ago. I will tell you that. Nobody's going to guess it, but I will tell you that as of a year or 2 ago, absolutely no chance this person would have popped up at a Flyers game. But it's somebody who I think appreciates Snow the Goalie, the Only Flyers podcast.
Would have come on Snow the Goalie, though, I believe.
Would have come on Snow the Goalie for sure, but would not have been here.
It's a good guess. I'm really it's going to be really good and a special day too.
Yeah, it is. So Saturday it'll be the 3 of us plus intern Andrew. We will be here for the press row show. If you come down on the 6th. Don't forget, that's the Snyder Legacy game. That's a 1 o'clock start. We will start the press row show extra early. So instead of a half hour early, it's going to be an hour-long pregame show because we have 2 guests coming on. So 12 o'clock, noon. Let everyone know. They're going to want to tune in. I might spoil it with a thumbnail for the show, but we have 2 people coming on. It's going to be very exciting, going to be very interesting. A lot of stuff going on. So, I see a few very interesting guests here, but there is one that I can tell you is definitely not right, and that is Andrew.
I can promise you right now it won't be Robert Earl, the captain. Will not be in town for the event, but I'll be sending my love to Snow the Goalie.
My God, that's Bobby Clark's music. That's Bob Clark's music. That was good. I always love when you do that. Anyway, somebody was close. I will say that there's somebody who may or may not be close in the comments on YouTube. But I can't say. I promised Anthony I wouldn't say. I actually didn't promise him. This is leaving people on a cliffhanger. Anyway, we'll be back Saturday for the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side and the other side of the Mississippi. So for Bundy, who you can find on Twitter at Therien6, for Anthony at SanFilippo, I'm Russ at Joy on Broad. For intern Andrew, what is it? At Andrew_Henry5. This has been Snow the Goalie, the Press Row Show. We'll be back Saturday at noon. Mark your calendar. Come find us outside of the Snow the Goalie Sportsbook. Bring your shirt to get signed, and we'll talk to all of you on Saturday. Everybody have a great rest of your week. We will talk to you very, very soon.